Most people choose their hoop house based off how many plants they want to plant, but we're going to show you why this is almost universally the wrong place to start. So aside from how much space do you actually have, you may be limited by the size of your lot, your land, other restrictions, easements, that kind of thing, which is going to determine about how much size you actually have to deal with. But beyond that, the next logical thing to do is, hey, this is everything I want to grow, this is my raised beds, this is my in-ground stuff, this is how wide I want my bed to be, and this is the crop spacing. And that's a great place to start. And that's where a lot of people will initially go to, but then they stay. But I want to talk about what nobody talks about and the real thing that happens after you get everything built and planted out and the problems that start to arise. Before we get too far into this, I want to say that the winner for the $500 contest we had a couple of weeks ago, rules are rules, and to be fair for everybody, we had to pick another winner because they did not contact us. So at the end of this video, somebody else is going to get a chance to win that $500, so please watch to the end. And if that's you, you got to get a hold of us. Check out the rules in the description below. So one camp says get the smallest you can possibly afford and just get started and get growing. And the other side of the coin is get the very biggest thing you can get. You're going to save on shipping and you'll move into it and grow over time. Neither one of those are wrong either. So a lot of times the focus is on the plants and what the plants need, but we're missing the point that this is a workspace. It's also a workspace that's highly valuable on your farm, and every square inch has to pay the rent. And so the plants that you do plant are being able to grow to their best potential, and you're able to harvest and maintain and help those plants grow along the way without you being constricted. And it basically turns into a place you don't want to visit every day because it's just so tight. So another question that we got along the same realm was, can I get a smaller hoop house now and add to it later? And anytime I hear, can I? Almost the answer universally is like, sure, if that's what you feel like you need to do, but all of that comes at a later cost. So if you look behind me, we have a 30-foot greenhouse coming up. And if you started with something smaller, let's say a 12-foot, a 20-foot, it'd be really hard to add width to that because obviously the hoops are the size that they are, right? From a cost perspective and a labor standpoint, it's really best to just go a little bit bigger. Now let's get back to the people side of things. If we're talking about going inside of your spaces, I know it's super, people really want to cramp as much in there. It's like, hey, I can get by with a 16-foot space walkway. I mean, you're not a ballerina, you know, the wheelbarrows, carts, harvesting, all that stuff takes space. So by reducing the airflow, by planting too close, too much, too many plants per square foot, and not giving yourself the room to work or the plants enough room to grow, and restricting all that airflow means we're either going to have to get a little bit bigger structure if you can, or just plant a few less plants, and always make sure that you have some way to at least vent fresh air into the house. And so with that being said, the other thing that winds up happening, especially if you're a new grower, is how much better a crop is going to do inside of a hoop house. It's going to grow faster, stronger, bigger. And what you'll find year to year, and I certainly did whenever I started growing, is you're so delighted when everything first comes up the first year, and it's really easy to get overexcited, but you learn things along the way. And that learning and those lessons next year is going to transfer over, and you're going to grow even better. And another question that came up was, I don't know what to plant inside of a hoop house. So let's take that under the lens of how big does a hoop house need to be? Different crops need different things. Vine crops like tomatoes, cucumbers need height, they need air, they need room to move. And when space is tight, pruning gets harder, airflow drops, and problems start to show up faster. Leafy greens don't take up as much space, but they still need access. If movement is tight, harvest slows and timing slips. Also on the root crops, especially things like carrots, that's a lot of foliage, very dense planted, it's a haven for insects. And so that's why thinning out carrots and beets is so important. Tools like a jang seeder to evenly space those so you don't have to thin is a lifesaver. Herbs get cut and come again, and they do best when you can move easily all the way around them and stay ahead of some of that old growth. What you grow is not really going to change the math on paper, but it is going to change how you work in these houses over time. Some of these plants are going to die, you're going to have more space. Some of them are drastically going to outperform, especially if you do things like take a look at some of the greenhouse varieties that are meant to thrive in these environments and produce much better, much faster. You'll really be surprised if you're going to go from a little garden or an outside grow into the hoop house for a first time. Be prepared for that jump in growth and yield and some of those extra chores. And while hopefully you're doing your bed prep right and you're not going to have to weed as much, there's still maintenance to do. And hey, if you watch this video and you still have questions about your crop or what size or if there's something that we missed here, go ahead and call our tech team. They do this every single day and they're standing by ready to help. I want to take kind of the years of experience that we have going to other farms and seeing what works and what doesn't work in these hoop houses. And so go visit hoop houses. You can watch these videos all day long. You can look at our website all day long and look at other people's videos. But being in a hoop house, especially for the first time, or being in a hoop house under a new lens of, hey, I think I want to get one of these, you're going to look at things different. The hobby house is there for restrictive environments, restrictive yards, some HOA issues, some access. But if you got the room, go bigger. But don't feel that pressure to plan it all out year one. I keep saying that over and over again because it's so important. So again, if you do go bigger, that empty space isn't waste, it's margin. And so if you have a small hoop house like this, you're not going to be planting as much. But if you do get a bigger hoop house, like the propagation house behind us, which is considerably larger, it's gonna give us room to move. Now, in our case, we're going to be planting using workbenches and things like that to go ahead and seed those out. But if I was actually planting in there, the spacing, the humidity control, the airflow, temperature regulation, this is going to get much hotter and much colder, much faster from day to day as the sun comes up and goes down. The bigger propagation behind us, that extra air mass is going to hold that temperature a little bit more steady. But just know that this buffer of air mass should be taken into the equation as you're building out this size of your hoop house. If cost is a concern up front, we certainly understand that, and the frame is the hardest thing to change later. That's why building bigger usually makes the most sense. A couple of things aren't worth skipping. Roll-up sides are non-negotiable. Getting your shade cloth delivered with your hoop house and ready before you need it is pretty much non-negotiable. So proper crop selection, extending the season, a little bit of control from wind damage, extra rain, excess moisture, that kind of thing. That's where a hoop house really shines. So please consider the workability of the hoop house. Think about your employees. Think about how many people are in there. Think about the carts, the wheelbarrows, the barrels, anything that you're using to harvest. Think about the activities you're going to do. Are you going to be reaching up? Are you going to be holding things? If you have a vine crop at the end of the season, you're going to have to terminate that crop and pull that out of there. So things like a double door, really, even if you just use it a couple of times a year, you're not beating the door frame of a single door. So just keep that stuff in mind. And again, watch as many videos as you can and go visit somebody locally. And just, even if you work in their hoop house a couple of days, get a little bit of experience and see if you like their space. So I know a lot of you wanted a clean answer and you wanted me to tell you, get a 20 by 30 and that's gonna solve all your problems. It's picking out the crops, thinking about how that's going to work, thinking best case scenario if everything grows to the best of its ability, because even if it doesn't year one, it probably will year two. So now let's get on with who had the second chance to win that $500 from that video a couple of weeks ago. It's real important to watch these videos, folks. We got a lot of little hidden gems that we're sprinkling in these days. So keep up with this. Hit that subscribe button, leave those comments, ask questions. Remember, you are the director. And now the winner of the re-pull of the name is Mary Stiers. Mary, please check the rules and regulations in the comments below and get a hold of us so we can hook you up with that $500 store credit. And hey, keep taking a look at our videos. We're gonna have another giveaway real soon.